Good morning. I'm Granny Martha Green. I've noticed that young parents are struggling today with parenting skills and knowledge to raise their children. I come to you with some credentials in that I've raised or helped raise some 13 children, all adults now, who've given me 42 grandchildren and almost 18 great-grandchildren come the spring. I've had some experience, you might say, and add to that I'm a registered nurse. And I think I've got some things that could help you enjoy your parenting and to raise children who are more responsive to your authority, who understand and know boundaries, which will serve them well not only at home, but at school and later on in life. So I'm starting this series with the desire to assist you in this tremendous responsibility of parenting. It's interesting that we have more modern conveniences than history's ever known, and yet the time seems to be shorter than ever, and all that we try to pack into time just seems to be overwhelming sometimes, and I'm sure you've felt some of that. It's very common now for mother and father to be working. It's not uncommon for moms or dads to be raising the children without the help of a partner. And so I just want to be of assistance to you and perhaps in a small way make a difference myself in the world. In raising my original 7 children, because there's 7 children, 2 of which are adopted, my first 2, and then 5 stepchildren, and then we adopted our last child when he was 39 years old. Now that's a whole other story for another day, but I'll share that with you in due time. But from these experiences, I remember when my children got to be about 8, 9, 10 years old, and they'd fuss and argue and fight, and I'm thinking, wow, this is not what I signed on for. What happened to the loving, happy family? This is hard. And I read a book by Dr. Wayne Dyer, and I highly recommend that book to you. It's called Your Erroneous Zones. And in the book, Dr. Dyer, who's one of the greatest, what would I call him? He was a motivator, that's true. He was a psychologist, and that's true too. But he was a man who sought wisdom and truth wherever it was to be found. And one of the truths that came out of that first book is one of the most profound that really reshaped the scenery of my family. He taught this idea that our feelings of anger or frustration, even happiness, sadness, our feelings come from our own thoughts. Wow, really? I'm making myself mad? I'm making myself frustrated? How can that possibly be? He went on to teach me how. Angry thoughts stimulate a neurochemical response in the body. It's the adrenal glands. And when we think angry thoughts, those adrenal glands just pump us up full of adrenaline, and we do whatever we do when we're angry. Once I came to realize this, everything changed. And another thing he said, your children are not lying in bed at night trying to figure out how to make you crazy tomorrow. They're just doing what kids do. Well, that was a great relief. But truly, I came to realize through that first book he wrote that when I'm reactive to them, they're going to be reactive back to me. But I learned that right when they had just stepped on my last nerve, to take that magic deep breath. That's all the time it takes to be able to act on the situation now, instead of reacting to it. As I acted on it, said what needed to be said, did what needed to be done, but in control of myself, at first they'd look at me like, who's living in mama's body today? Because kids get used to how we do things. But when you change what you're doing, it's like a dance. When you change what you're doing, they have to change their steps. So, it changed the whole picture of my family. And I continue to raise those children. I have many happy memories of that. I think they do too. And today, they're all very productive. There's not a lazy one in the crowd. They all work hard and they're highly successful. And some of them have already raised their children to be fully productive adults now. The rest of them are still growing up. So that is the principle I'm sharing with you today. That our thoughts create our feelings, and our feelings drive our behavior. So the place to take control is on the thought level. So I'll leave you with that to ponder today, and I promise to be back soon. Have a great day, and enjoy those precious children that you've been given.